Hello, this is Clint with Sweetcast, and today we have a very special episode because I have got my lovely wife, Stephanie, here, and we're going to read through a script I wrote. You're going to need a little bit of background on this first. So, I got together with an artist, and he really wanted to do a story about a cowboy that rides a small T-Rex. And while that sounds really silly, part of our goal here was to take it very seriously. He had some basic ideas and names of characters, and he asked me to write it. So I wrote it. I used the names he had and some of the themes that he wanted and took it very seriously. And so my goal here was to really write an American version of fantasy. And so there's Native American lore in here, which we've sort of borrowed from. And I realized that is really preventing this story from being picked up by a big publisher because it's not very politically correct. But I think it's a really fun story, and so we're going to read it for you. So we start on page 1. It's a splash page with Theo at Theo's barn at night. Panel 1, upshot. Bo is gritting his teeth and throwing a bucket of water at a raging fire. A barn is burning off panel. He is covered in sweat and soot. It is dark, but he is lit with orange firelight. We see the moon shining orange through the smoke-filled sky. Bo has a choker necklace on. It's obviously American Indian, but it has a fossil tied to the center, like a dinosaur tooth.
Grandfather, Great Spirit, I seek relief from this sick feeling. It's my husband, Bo. Shouldn't I feel joy that he sacrifices when others will not? Should I rejoice?
Page 2, panel 1. Bo turns to grab another bucket of water as Theo passes it to him. We have full view of the barn, half engulfed in flames.
He's grown so much since the white man's war.
Panel 2, close up, a bucket of water cascading down the charred wood.
Bo no longer drowns himself in liquor.
Panel 3, Bo turns to see a horse rearing back. It's trapped in the barn.
He says labor keeps him from liquor.
Panel 4, Bo drops a bucket and runs toward the large barn door. We see that there are several horses inside, pulling against the post that they are tied to.
He's become strong.
Page 3, panel 1. Luyu is standing on top of a hill. This is a different location in the woods. Luyu is standing on top of a hill with Noah. They look into the distance where they see a glowing firelight of the barn fire. The orange moon is large in the sky.
He's become a good father. Still praying, Mother?
Panel 2. Noah looks earnestly at Luyu, but she has her eyes closed in prayer.
Mother?
Panel 3. Noah walks back toward the tree line where Yaquez is standing prominently.
Other men long to be like him.
Page 4, panel 1. Yaquez smiles as Noah walks past him.
Noah, I'm going to sleep.
Panel 2. Yaquez turns back to Luyu concerned, like he wants to say something.
But in this moment...
Panel 3. But Yaquez turns his head, almost ashamed to be hovering around another man's wife.
Would it bring you peace if I sought Bo at the outpost?
Panel 4. We're looking into Luyu's face. She seems anxious. Yaquez is in the background walking away.
It all feels so temporary.
So now we're back at the barn, back at Theo's barn. It's night. Bo wipes his brow on his sleeve. He's holding the horse we saw him in the barn with earlier by the reins.
Might as well let the embers burn, Theo. It's gone.
Page 5, panel 1. Theo is squatting and watching the glowing remains of the barn. Bo is in the background.
You are the craziest bushwhacker I ever did see. Truly, I thank you, Bo. I know how your woman feels about you coming into town like this.
Bo puts his hand on Theo's shoulder.
I owe you a mighty one. It's 2 now. Is it? You're forgetting the barn raising?
Theo looks perplexed.
Shoot, well, I figured one would cancel out the other.
Bo brushes at his shirt. Theo pulls a glass flask from his pocket.
At any rate, when this heap cools down, I'll salvage what I can.
Panel 5. Theo lifts the flask over his head. Bo looks at the bottle, considering it.
Thirsty?
Page 6, panel 1. Bo looks down.
No, I'd best be going.
Panel 2. Theo brings the flask to his lips.
Still high and dry, eh? Good on you, Bo.
Now we've moved to the geyser at night. One shot on the geyser. We see a Kez walking through the clearing. Steam rises from the geyser in the background. And this is a caption that's carrying over to link the scene. So this is Theo, his line continuing.
But I don't know how you can sleep without a drink.
That's the sound of the geyser steaming. Panel 4, we have the exact same shot, just like in a lot of great horror films. Yalquez is almost out of view. Water gushes up from the geyser. There's my best sound. Water gushing. Okay. Page 7, that should say. Panel 1. Bo is walking down a dark road. We see the outpost in the blood-red moon behind him. Panel 2. Bo stops. His hand on his gun. A sound rings out from the forest. Eek, 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 eek. Panel 3. A shadowy figure steps out into the path. It's Dietz. It's like a new character.
Pardon me, sir. I'm seeking a Mr. Bo McCarthy.
And just some information, he's a German, so for what it's worth. Panel 4. Bo squints as Dietz limps a little closer. His leg is fitted with a metal brace. It squeaks as he walks. Eek, eek.
Do I know you?
Panel 5. Dietz looks distressed. Bo keeps his hand on his gun.
Frederick Dietz of the German Empire. Listen, I'm Bo. Why have you come calling?
Panel 1. Dietz smiles slightly, rubbing his knee with one hand. Panel 2. Close up on Dietz's leg. It's fitted with a metal and leather brace.
I'm in terrible pain.
Panel 3. Bo walks closer. Dietz looks pathetic.
I've heard that you commune with a very peculiar tribe of natives. Their religion is said to perform healings. Afraid you're chasing fables.
This is a medium shot. Dietz looking sincere.
I wouldn't come all the way to Montana if I wasn't certain. I've seen things only fools would deny.
Panel 5. Bo thinks as Dietz cringes and grabs at his knee. Panel 6. Bo takes his hand off his gun.
Not sure I can help you, Dietz.
Page 9. Panel 1. Dietz stands closer and pulls a flask from his coat.
It would be very generous if you allowed me 10 minutes.
Panel 2. Bo stares at the flask as Dietz throws his head back to drink. Page 10. This is at a stagecoach at night on the trail. Panel 1. Close-up of zebras yipping, or a zebra yipping. We see that it is part of a team of zebras that are tied to a stagecoach. Zebra. Yep. That's the best I can do, guys. Sorry. Panel 2. A gunman opens the door to the coach for Dietz. Several armed men loiter around. Bo is amazed at the zebras.
I've traveled nearly every continent with this carriage. I'll confess I am a bit sentimental about these things.
Panel 3. We are looking down the side of the stagecoach. Bo is standing at the entrance, sizing up the loitering gunman. Dietz speaks from inside.
Are you coming? I have something to show you.
Panel 4. Bo stands in the doorway, looking amazed. We see a sloth hanging from the ceiling beside him, and several glass cases with various artifacts inside. And there's Bo just perplexed. Panel 5. Dietz motions to the wall. We see a mummified small fairy pinned to the wall like a butterfly. Dietz looks at it proudly.
I discovered this on my trip to the Andes.
Page 11, panel 1. Dietz admires the fairy as we see a frightened look on its face. A frightened look frozen on its face.
They call it the mountain fairy. It was so beautiful, but I had to carefully handle it. It bit like a rat.
Bo takes a closer look. Dietz stands close behind him.
Never imagined such a thing existed. They say it was the last one.
Panel 3. Bo turns. His eyes meet a small mermaid in a jar. It looks sickly and presses a palm against the glass.
Don't look too much at that specimen. It has a way of making your stomach churn.
Bo looks closer at the jar. Dietz removes the lid with one hand and sprinkles fish food in with the other. The mermaid recoils and leans into the bottom of the jar.
I'll be. You see, Bo, like most people, you have simply never sought the impossible.
Panel 5. Bo sits back into a purple velvet padded bench seat. We see his necklace clearly.
Not sure I want to know how you collected all of this.
Panel 6. Dietz smiles and takes the bottle of purple liquid from the shelf. Page 12, Panel 1. Dietz pours the liquid into a glass.
I'm not a drinking man. I quit a while back.
Dietz sits on a stool across from Bo, holding the drink high.
A German custom. It can hardly be called a wine.
Panel 3, close-up. Bo looks at the glass.
But it soothes your mind like an old friend.
Panel 4, same shot, but Bo glances up at Dietz. Dietz's hand seems to quiver.
Sir Hall.
It's German.
Excuse me, my leg aches when the weather turns.
Panel 5, close-up. Bo reaches for the glass.
Just one, and I'm through.
Panel 6, Bo holds the glass, smelling it. Page 13, Panel 1, down shot. Bo downs the drink. Panel 2, Bo makes a face like the drink is really bitter.
Sweet Charlotte, what is...
Close-up. Bo is wide-eyed and sweating profusely. Dietz's hand is cupped over Bo's mouth.
Hush, hush.
Panel 3. Dietz leans in close to Bo, his hand covering Bo's mouth. Bo looks around wildly, struggling.
I want to talk about a very large and very rare creature.
Dietz examines Bo's necklace.
Tell me, where did you get this fossil?
Panel 5. Scene change. Now we're with Lu Yu. Lu Yu walks down the path by the geyser. It's steaming. Fss. Panel 6. Lu Yu stops to look at the geyser as it goes off. Sss. Page 14. Panel 1. Lu Yu steps out from the forest. Her face is lit with red firelight. She looks terrified. Sound effects. Ah! Screaming. Panel 2. Lu Yu freezes. We see her small village being overrun by gunmen. Teepees are burning. Dead bodies clutter the ground. Dietz's stagecoach is parked off in the distance. Gunmen, sound effects, bang, 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 thwip, 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 as bullets hit trees and whatnot. Panel 3. She notices Bo staggering around in the middle of it all.
Bo! Bo!
Panel 4. Bo looks at her. He appears out of his mind.
Bo!
Panel 5. Bo lifts up his gun and levels it at her head. Panel 6. Close-up. Bo looks down the sights of his gun at us.
Grandfather, Great Spirit.
Page 15. Panel 1. A gunshot. Sound effects. Bang. Panel 2. We are by Dietz's stagecoach. He is bent over and removing his leg brace. Panel 3. A gunman pulls Noah by the neck with a chain. Noah is terrified. He pulls back. Dietz seems pleased.
I've got a timid one here. One is all I need.
Panel 4. Dietz tosses the leg brace to the ground.
He'll ride in the carriage with me. And what of Bo?
Panel 5. Close-up. Dietz smiles like a psychopath. Panel 6. We are looking over Dietz's shoulder at the burning village. Bo is standing over Lu Yu's body, rubbing his eyes.
Be creative.
Page 16, splash page. Panel 1, Bo crouches and looks over Luyu's body. His eyes are wide and he holds his head between his hands. Several gunmen are approaching from behind with guns and a rope.
Luyu.
This is a slight scene change. We're somewhere in the woods at night. A little bit later, Yaquez runs through the forest toward a faint firelight shining through the trees. Panel 2, Yaquez runs into the clearing. He's horrified. Anger, grief, disbelief. Panel 3, the old medicine man struggles to stand. We see Yaquez spot him from across the burning village. Panel 4, Yaquez helps the medicine man to his feet.
Where's Luyu?
Panel 5, complete blackness. We hear the geyser steaming. Page 18, panel 1. Bo opens his eyes. He's hanging upside down in the geyser. His arms are tied behind his back awkwardly.
Bo!
Panel 2. Yaquez is straining to pull the rope up.
I'll free you, my brother.
Panel 3. Bo looks down at the boiling water beneath. His necklace, I misspelled that, hangs toward the water. The one Luyu made for him. Yeah, his necklace.
The German. Leave me and go after them. They took Noah.
Panel 4. Yaquez pulls the rope a little higher. Bo is hanging from below as the water rises.
We will rescue Noah together, brother. Then you can gut the German yourself. Luyu, she's dead.
Panel 5. Yaquez lets the rope down just a little. He looks grief-stricken. Bo is curled up trying to keep away from the rising water.
Dead? Yaquez, it's not...
Panel 1. Yaquez grips the rope furiously. Bo dangles beneath.
They will suffer. We will make them suffer. You don't understand, Yaquez.
Panel 2. Close-up of Yaquez. His eyes well up with tears and hatred.
It was me. My mind was lost. My sight. They gave me a drink, and I...
Panel 3. Yaquez looks down the hole.
I thought you had quit. I thought you... It's not what you think. It was one drink. It was tainted.
Panel 4. Yaquez looks at the rope in his hands. Bo is hanging inside the steaming hole.
It's never been just one drink with you, Bo.
Panel 5. Close up. Yaquez is thinking of something awful, hatred in his eyes. Panel 6. Yaquez's grip is loosening.
Drink deeply.
Page 20. Panel 1. Yaquez releases the rope.
Drink until you are finally filled.
Yaquez is walking toward us with a look of contempt. The medicine man stands in the foreground, lighting a small bundle of sage on fire, preparing for a ceremony. Panel 3. Inside the geyser, Bo struggles under the water. His necklace is swelling and glowing orange as boiling water wraps around it. Panel 4. The medicine man walks through the dead bodies of the tribe and fans the sage smoke into the air. Panel 5. Bo writhes under the boiling water. His necklace, the fossil, expands and starts to form a skeleton. Panel 6. Close-up. The sage smoke floats into the air. Page 21. Panel 1. In the geyser, the rope breaks and Bo is floating helplessly in the water. Angus's skeleton, so this is the T-Rex, this is his origin, is taking shape beneath him. Panel 2. Outside, Yaquez is kneeling over Luyu's body. He weeps bitterly. Panel 3. In the geyser, orange skin is forming over the skeleton. I should mention that the artist wanted to have an orange T-Rex. Orange miniature T-Rex, so that's what we were doing. Panel 4. Bo is covered in boiling water. The dinosaur is almost finished forming. Bo meets eye to eye with Angus. And Angus is the T-Rex. Panel 5, excuse me. Outside, Yaquez is cradling Luyu's body. We see the geyser steaming in the background. Panel 6, complete blackness. So the geyser went off. Page 22. And we are outside of the burned village, and it's daytime now. Panel 1, blackness. Panel 2, it's morning. We're looking up at the sky as rain falls. Bo is laying on his back in the mud. Panel 3. Bo sits up, panting and looking around wildly. Panel 4. Bo gets up to one knee. He freezes, wide-eyed. We see Angus's feet and his lower half before Bo.
I know it. I know I did something pure awful. Today I meet the devil.
And that's the end. So that would be the origin story of basically the everything, Bo and Angus. And I should mention that the artist really wanted this to be a story of redemption. And one sticking point was when Bo unwittingly kills his wife. And the artist didn't like that because he thought it made Bo irredeemable. And he might be right. I kind of liked it because there was something to redeem him from. The drinking problem was what got him into this mess. And so, the rest of the story would have been him searching for redemption. And so, it was a fun idea. I had a lot of fun writing it. It'll never get made because the artist had some great opportunities for him outside of comics. And I thought this isn't PC enough for mainstream comics. So, but I still liked it. It was a lot of fun. We had planned this to be like a really long series. Like we're talking 36 issues long. And would have been cool. Just wanted to show you all an example. There's definitely some things I would change if I made another pass over this. Obviously, we saw just a few typos in there. And I'd have to reconsider with the wife dying. So if you've made it this long through the video, let me know what you think. Should Lu Yu die? Or should her death be different? What makes a great redemption story? And I will see you in the next episode.